playoff team. And what I hate about it is I'm watching all these other teams. They making moves, right? They're signing players like New York. They're signing. I mean, I don't even know how they're able to sign 2, 3 players, but they're doing it, right? Chicago just don't have it, y'all. I don't know, bro. Like it's just bad. It's bad, bad, bad.
The Chicago Sky delivered an abysmal display against the Minnesota Lynx, losing 91-68 in what can only be described as a thoroughly disappointing contest. The performance represented a complete failure across all aspects of the game, marking one of their worst showings of the season. Chicago entered the matchup undermanned, yet appeared unprepared for competition. The team seemed unaware that basketball was scheduled, displaying lackadaisical effort that suggested minimal preparation or focus. The overall approach appeared weak and uninspired throughout the contest.
Bad. Nights like this, it wasn't enjoyable. And like 23 turnovers. Don't y'all know it's the most turnovers they had since I think it was because I think they had 25. They did have 25 turnovers against Washington. But the effort wasn't there. I'm looking at
Ball security emerged as the primary concern during this defeat. Careless possessions plagued Chicago's offensive execution, with catastrophic turnover numbers undermining any competitive chances. Angel Reese contributed 9 costly turnovers, an unacceptable total that severely hampered team success. Energy levels appeared insufficient from the opening tip. Following the All-Star break, Chicago failed to demonstrate the intensity required for professional competition. While perfection cannot be expected nightly, fundamental effort standards must be maintained regardless of circumstances.
effort wasn't there. I'm looking at the effort. The defense was god off. Chicago played soft. They didn't play with a sense of urgency. Nobody out there felt disrespected. Like nobody, they just didn't come to play. They did not come to play today. Now they did sign.
Personnel limitations cannot excuse the team's 21 total turnovers. Camila Cardoso added 4 turnovers, while Rachel Banham contributed 3 additional miscues. When the premier player commits 9 turnovers, winning becomes virtually impossible regardless of other factors. Bench production provided minimal assistance despite Wes Bell showing occasional sparks. The limited depth cannot compensate for the systematic problems plaguing this organization throughout the campaign. Chicago's 7-16 record reflects deeper issues than individual player performance.
Now they did sign Marquisha Davis. She did not play today. Wasn't available. Maybe she'll be available next game. Oh man. It's just disappointing. I mean, that's cool. You lose to the best team in the WNBA. That's cool, but to go out there and just play.
Responsibility cannot fall solely on one athlete, yet the team's direction remains unclear. Initial expectations position Chicago as playoff contenders, making the current trajectory particularly frustrating. Other organizations continue making roster improvements while Chicago appears stagnant. Observing competing teams secure quality additions highlights Chicago's operational shortcomings. Organizations like New York successfully signed multiple contributors despite salary cap constraints, demonstrating superior front office execution. Chicago lacks the organizational competence necessary for sustained success. The 23 turnover total matched their season high, previously set against Washington with 25 giveaways. Defensive intensity was non-existent, with Chicago playing without urgency or pride. No player appeared personally affected by the poor performance, suggesting deeper motivational concerns. Recent signing Marisha Davis remained unavailable for the contest, though she may contribute in upcoming games. Her potential impact cannot address the fundamental issues plaguing this roster construction and coaching approach. Losing to Minnesota League's premier team presents acceptable outcomes when competitive effort is displayed. However, the lackluster showing demonstrated unprofessional standards that extend beyond talent limitations. Coaching rotations appeared questionable throughout the defeat. Tyler Marsh continues experimenting with lineup combinations, though certain personnel groupings appear doomed. Playing both HVL and Rachel Banham simultaneously creates defensive vulnerabilities that cannot be overcome. Two undersized guards lacking defensive capability cannot coexist effectively. HVL's readiness for meaningful contributions remains questionable. Her development timeline suggests another year or two before reaching productive levels. Current performance indicates she cannot help any organization win consistently, making her a long-term project requiring patience. Chicago's decision to draft HVL with the 11th selection, obtained through trade, appears increasingly problematic. The organization surrendered their 2026 pick to acquire her. Chicago's offensive struggles became evident through their dismal 39.3% field goal percentage. Professional basketball teams rarely perform at such inefficient levels without underlying systematic problems. Players forced difficult attempts, overthought basic decisions, and demonstrated hesitant execution that suggested deeper confidence issues within the organization. Minnesota's defensive intensity generated exceptional results, forcing 23 turnovers from Chicago, their season-high total. This defensive performance made the Lynx appear historically dominant while simultaneously exposing Chicago's fundamental problems with ball security and decision-making across their entire roster. Angel Reese's performance exemplified many of Chicago's broader issues during this contest. Despite maintaining her double-double streak with 11 points and 11 rebounds, her 9 turnovers represented a career-worst total that overshadowed any positive statistical contributions. The contrast between her individual achievements and actual team impact became starkly apparent. These 9 turnovers weren't random mistakes, but systematic breakdowns in basic basketball fundamentals. Reese attempted risky passes that went directly to Minnesota players, committed multiple traveling violations when establishing post position, and repeatedly lost ball control under minimal defensive pressure. Her 3 assists compared to 9 turnovers created an embarrassing ratio for a player expected to facilitate offense. The turnover problems highlighted limitations in Reese's role as a point forward, a position requiring exceptional ball handling skills, court vision, and decision-making abilities that she clearly lacked. Her attempts to initiate offense from half-court consistently resulted in possession losses that killed Chicago's offensive momentum. Minnesota's balanced scoring attack made defensive game planning impossible for Chicago. Napheesa Collier and Kayla McBride each contributed 19 points through efficient shooting and smart positioning within their offensive system. Their production came from intelligent cuts, open three-pointers created through ball movement, and efficient post-ups that maintained team rhythm. Courtney Williams added 10 points and 7 assists, demonstrating how Minnesota's multiple contributors operated in complementary roles rather than competing for individual recognition. This balanced approach prevented Chicago from focusing defensive attention on any single threat while creating consistent scoring opportunities. The contrast became more pronounced when examining Chicago's approach. Players appeared more concerned with individual statistics than creating opportunities for teammates. This selfish mentality disrupted ball movement and player movement that characterizes winning basketball organizations. Chicago's struggles intensified without Ariel Atkins, their most reliable perimeter scorer. Kia Nurse provided 16 points in replacement, but individual scoring couldn't overcome fundamental issues with team chemistry and ball movement. The absence exposed Chicago's lack of depth and over-reliance on specific players. Statistical analysis reveals disturbing trends about Chicago's construction. The team actually performed more competitively during stretches when Reese wasn't dominating possession. Ball movement improved, decision-making quickened, and teammates found better scoring opportunities when the offense wasn't filtered through one player's limitations. Reese's defensive vulnerabilities became exposed against Minnesota's athletic lineup. Quick guards consistently beat her off the dribble, while strong forwards overwhelmed her in post situations. Her attempts to recover from poor positioning resulted in foul trouble that further limited her effectiveness. The technical foul Reese received during this contest represented her 7th of the season, leading the entire league in this category and placing her 1 violation away from automatic suspension. This lack of composure during crucial moments demonstrated poor leadership when her team desperately needed steady guidance. Minnesota improved to 21 wins and 4 losses with this victory, cementing their position. The performance raised uncomfortable questions about Chicago's foundational approach. Building around a player whose individual achievements don't translate to team success creates sustainability problems that become more pronounced against quality opposition. Other organizations have identified and learned to exploit these weaknesses. Minnesota's defensive scheme generated 8 blocks while creating numerous fast break opportunities that padded their already comfortable advantage. Their commitment to team defense translated directly into offensive production, demonstrating how collective effort produces superior results compared to individual talent. Chicago's offensive philosophy requires complete reconsideration if they hope to become competitive. The current system prioritizes individual statistics over winning basketball, creating an environment where personal achievements matter more than collective success. This approach has proven ineffective against legitimate championship contenders. The data suggests Chicago performs better when their supposed star player isn't controlling every possession and disrupting team flow. This reality presents difficult decisions about roster construction and strategic direction moving forward. Sometimes the most challenging truth involves recognizing that star players might actually impede team success. Reese's -19 rating during this contest perfectly captured her negative impact on team performance despite achieving double-double numbers. Individual statistics lose meaning when they contribute to losing rather than winning basketball games. Minnesota's systematic dismantling of Chicago should serve as organizational wake-up call about the difference between accumulating statistics and contributing to victories. The Lynx demonstrated what championship-level basketball resembles through unselfish play and collective commitment. The question facing Chicago involves whether they will continue prioritizing individual achievements or finally address fundamental problems with their approach. Building around the wrong foundation creates long-term competitive disadvantages that become increasingly difficult to overcome. This defeat may have revealed more about Chicago's future direction than any victory could have provided. The systematic problems exposed during this contest suggest deeper organizational issues that require comprehensive solutions rather than minor adjustments. Minnesota's performance established them as legitimate championship contenders while simultaneously highlighting Chicago's distance from competitive relevance. The gap between these organizations extends beyond talent differences to encompass philosophical approaches toward basketball success.